Hi YouTube. Today I want to make a quick video about just encouraging you to rub up on the hard rock. And what I mean by that is in the wild there are some animals like snakes that after a while they have to shed their skin because that's how they grow longer, that's how they renew themselves, that's how they get rid of sometimes parasites and all these kind of stuff. And a lot of times to help the process, the snake would have to go up on a jagged rock and literally scrape off the whole scales. And as it's doing that, it's getting rid of the scales. It's probably not a pleasurable uh experience for the snake, but it's necessary for its growth. Uh in as human beings, I see that we have a similar way of growing as well, but you need to be willing about it. You need to willingly expose yourself to hard teaching sometimes. You need to get away from people who are just going to be yes people all the time and people who are not going to challenge you in any way. For example, a good example is relationships. Sometimes when somebody has been in multiple bad relationships and they got disappointed a lot, they tend to blame the opposite sex or whatever sex that they date. And a lot of time around them are people promoting this kind of behavior. Like, yeah, those people are bad. Like, men are terrible, women are terrible. And you see a lot of that circulating on the internet today, the whole gender war going on. Um, the men will always blame the women are blaming the men. And what I think why the situation is getting worse and worse is no one is looking at themselves. And my point is, if you've had one bad relationship, one or two, maybe you were still young and learning. But it gets to a point when you have had five, six, seven relationships, probably more babies of people that babies of these people too, and it's like you still haven't learned your lesson. It's time to stop looking at the opposite sex. It's time to look at yourself. And it means exposing yourself to hard teachings. It means doing hard things. It means sitting with yourself and asking yourself hard questions like, why am I approaching these people? Why in the last 5 years of my life, why have these people always been attracted to me? What is it about me that's causing this in my life? What And that's hard. That is like a rock for a lot of people. Another thing that's like a rock for some people is getting away. Like YouTube is a beautiful it's actually a beautiful instrument. Social media is a beautiful instrument. Is it being used for the good? Not really. Most people use it to waste their time. And again, most people are more interested in following influencers who give them comfort. So it's easier to follow influencers who so how can I say this? Like, it's easy to follow influencer who's agreeing with what you're thinking. The influencer who's telling you, oh yeah, these people, those men are terrible, those women are terrible, oh yeah, and they always have something to boost your ego in their content. Yeah, they'll be very attractive to watch. But there are people on the internet and there are people on YouTube and social media who will tell you the harsh truth. And I would say, if you're a young woman and you really want to improve in your life, you really want to go somewhere and you're serious about your success, find yourself a hard older woman or a woman your age. It could be a woman your age, but find yourself a hard influencer. Find yourself an influencer that's probably not so famous. Find yourself an influencer who's not probably well liked, and listen to her. And I'm not saying you got to be exactly like her, but listen to her and apply what she's saying in your life, and notice how you change. Notice how that's when you're going to start to grow, when you start really doing the hard things. As a young man, you need to stop listening to a bunch of people, guys who just talking garbage. They're just trying to teach you how to just make money, how to do certain things. Like all 98% of their content is about getting girls and all that kind of stuff. All those are ego boosting things. You need to listen to the guys on the internet who are telling you hard stuff, who will make you feel bad about yourself a little bit. And it's not bad to go up on the rock. It's not bad. Sometimes you need to hear it. What I'm saying? You need to hear the harsh truth about yourself. And is it a pleasant thing? No. But what I could say is, after a while, you get better taking constructive criticism. It's always going to hurt. Listen, we as human beings, we don't like hearing about ourselves, okay? And I'm just telling you. I don't think you'll ever get to a point where you love hearing about yourself. The same way I don't think a snake loves scraping up on a rock. It'll never be pleasant. But you get better at it and you start learning, you get better at coping with it, and you start learning that this is the way you grow. And when you start seeing that this is actually the way you grow, you will be much more comfortable exposing yourself to that kind of information, and you'll eat less candy, if to put it that way. There's a lot of candy on social media, like if you go to the store, there's candy and there's probably vegetables. You could take the candy, you could take the vegetable. The vegetable is probably not going to taste as good as the candy, but the vegetable is better for you. So willingly expose yourself to hard teaching. Willingly expose yourself. If you have friends around you, or if you even have like um a family member or a coach, mentor, whatever it is, expose yourself to somebody who's just going to give it to you real. If you've been in, if you're a man and you've had like baby mothers and all of them are terrible and you're just so tired and you're blaming women for everything, I think it's time to listen to a man who to start telling you, like, what are your habits? Where are you finding these women? Why do you keep attracting this in your life? And when you ask yourself these hard questions, what you're gonna realize is that you have to come up with an answer. And depending on that answer, now you have something to work on. Just a quick example. I would say this year for my birthday, to be a little transparent, I wasn't able to do much because financially I couldn't do much for my birthday. That's my problem. And I went on the rock about this. I said, well, what am I doing that's causing me that on my birthday I can't even really go out like I want to. I can't do the things I want. I can't travel and all that kind of stuff. And I said, one of the things that I realized about myself is that I don't prioritize myself sometimes. And don't just go up on the rock just to condemn yourself. Like, give yourself ideas too. Like, ideas are going to come when you go up on a rock the right way. When you're exposed to a good teacher who is going to be rough on you, you're also going to get downloads of where to go next, because you ask yourself the question, like, why can't I go out on my birthday? Why can't didn't I wasn't I financially set on my birthday? Then and then this morning I was just thinking about, I was really thinking hard on it, and I was like, well, one of the things I can do is start a little birthday fund for myself. Like, have a little chest, and which I got already, but have a little chest and like put money towards my birthday from anywhere it comes. If I get money from work, if I get money from a investment account, or if somebody gives me some money, I put some to my birthday fund. That way, and little things like that, you find little solutions to problems in your life. But sometimes it takes somebody else, and it takes us a harsh teaching to root it out to root it up out of you, so you could see it. You could confront it, and then you could create a plan to get over it. So don't be afraid of the rock. Like, rub up on that rock, and slowly but surely improve your life and grow.